Hello and welcome to the Legends Swing Builder program. This is a 6-session program designed to help your child rebuild their swing from the ground up so that they leave this program with ultimate confidence and they are ready to crush baseballs during their upcoming season. Every single week is a bit of a progression where we start off slow, working on some of the basics, and then we're gonna speed it up. So on the very first day, we're just working off the tee, we're working on some live flips, we're working on their grip, their stance, their load, their stride, to lock that in first before we begin with more advanced mechanics. I'll be sending these videos to you from time to time so that you can stay in tune with what's happening on the field so that you can practice at home on your own time. With that being said, let's get into the very first session and what we are going over on session number 1. The first thing we're gonna work on day 1 is how to grip the bat properly. What we wanna have is we wanna line up what everyone used to call their door knocking knuckles. It's these knuckles that you can see right here that I painted on. And the reason why we want this is because when you get to the point of contact right here, you're gonna top hand up, bottom hand down, and you're at a strong point of contact. If we weren't lined up properly and we were gripping the bat just like this, when we get to the point of contact, our wrist is gonna be right here and it's not a strong position to hit it. It almost feels like my wrist is kind of breaking, and then we're gonna be kind of rolling over right at contact. We're not able to stay on plane. And so what we wanna do is we wanna rest the grip on the top of our back shoulder, check these door knocking knuckles, point your fingers to the sky. They should either be making an 11 or a triangle. If they're crossing over and making an X, we know that they are not lined up properly. The other thing that we do want to have is we want to make sure that they're not gripping the bat in their palms right here. We want to be more in their pads, so it's nice and loose and whippy. If it's in your palms right here, it's just not a nice loose swing. We want to be more right here in the palm, on the pads of our hands. That is the first step in the swing, is learning how to grip the bat properly. After we work on the grip, we're gonna start to begin to work on the stance. Now, everybody's stance is a little bit different, but I'm gonna give you a baseline of how kids to get set up properly at the plate. First things first, we gotta start with our feet. We need proper foot placement. A really good thing for young kids is to rest their bat on the front edge of the plate, and then they're gonna put their front foot at the back knob, and that's generally a good place to hit. I know that if I reach down right here and I can touch the edge of the plate, I'm usually in a good distance from the plate. Now, the next thing we're gonna work on is our feet. Okay, we need to make sure that we are not too narrow, we are not too wide. A good place to start is slightly wider than shoulder width apart. That'll allow you to be in a good athletic position, and it gives you space so that you can stride. After that, we check our feet, and then we're gonna check our hands. We just went over the grip. We're gonna rest the bat on the back part of our shoulder right there, and then we're gonna rise up. This right here is a pretty good place to hit. Now, what I see a lot of kids do is oftentimes they're like right here, or their hands are starting low, or their arm is starting locked out. We wanna be right here, okay? Listening to their thumb with their hands close to their ear right here, and the knob of their bat facing the catcher. That is the stance. So just like this, nice and balanced, weight 50-50. This right here is a great place to start. The next thing we're gonna talk about is contact points and how to set up properly at the tee. So what we have right here is a representation of an inside pitch, a middle pitch, and an opposite field pitch. What we generally wanna think about doing is try to hit the ball up the middle of the field. Typically, when there's not a shift on, the field is wide open. All you have is the pitcher up there, and it gives you the most room of error. So when we're setting up to begin with, we wanna set up so we're hitting line drives up the middle. So what we wanna do with that is if we were catching that ball, it would be right here, right up the middle. But if we wanted to drive the ball inside and we wanted to pull that ball, we're gonna catch that ball right out here, a little bit further out in front of us right here, and that's gonna allow us to pull that. Now, if we're driving the ball away, we're gonna allow that ball to travel a little bit deeper. So if it's outside the corner of the plate, and then we're gonna catch the ball closer to our back hip and drive the ball that way. Those are the 3 contact points. And now I'm gonna show you how to set up at the tee properly so that you can work on all 3 different contact points. When you set up at the tee, you generally want to work on hitting the ball up the middle, but there's a time and a place that you want to drive the ball inside and outside, and I'm going to show you how to do just that. When we're trying to hit the ball up the middle, we want to have our front foot slightly behind the tee, just like this. But if we want to drive the ball middle away, we're going to put our belly button right here, even with the tee, and that's going to allow us to drive it the other way. Now, if this is middle and we want to pull the ball, we're going to go about a foot length back from the tee And from right there, we can work on driving the ball and getting the bat head out front, and then we're gonna pull the ball. Those are the 3 different contact points. You can obviously work the tee low and high, but for day 1, we're just working the ball tee height about waist height. Sorry. Now that we've gone over our grip, we've gone over the stance, and we've gone over how to hit off the tee, we're gonna go off the first move during the swing, which is your load. I like to think about the load if we were delivering a punch. Okay, we're not gonna hurt somebody, we're not gonna hurt the ball if we just punch like this, but if we wanna hurt that ball, we're gonna load up, boom, and we're gonna give it a punch. The same thing generally applies with the tee. Now, some of the kids will come in and they will have an existing load that's really nice. Some kids, they won't have a load just yet, and that's okay, but the main thing we want them to do is to begin to develop a little bit of a load and to walk away from their hands so that when they stride, their hands are back. So one of my favorite drills to work on to start is what I like to call golfers or rock the baby. It looks just like this. So all we're gonna get them to do is they're just gonna hold the bat right here and they're just gonna rock with a little bit of rhythm. And then when they come back, they're gonna load up and explode. The next drill to develop the load is what we like to call step backs. And it's one of the few drills that you can do with kids 8 or 9 and under that they really seem to get and grasp onto. And all it is you're gonna start with your feet together, like your hands just right here on your back shoulder. And all you're gonna have them do is just step back, load up on their backside, the inside part of their foot, and drive. It'll look just like this. Step back, load, explode. The third drill we're gonna work on is our knob to knee drill, or AKA the big poppy drill. All you're gonna have them do is step back from the tee just like this, and you're gonna have them load and stride once, load and stride again, knee to knob separate, and fire, okay? And this gets them to really feel what it's like to have their hands go back as their front foot lands. Give it a shot. After we work on the load, the next move we're gonna work on is the stride. A great way to work on this is just some dry drills without even swinging, just to get them used to stepping forward, not stepping out right back at the pitcher, all right? So we're gonna start off on these foot markers. You could also use paint sticks, and what you do is you go left foot, right foot, then you're gonna take their bat. I like to have them cross their arms right here because I find that if you have them hold it right here, they're gonna try and hit the ball, and that's not the goal. So all we're gonna have them do right here is just bend those knees a little bit, load back, stride to that foot marker, and start to sequence just like this. Notice a little bit of shoulder tilt, just like this, and all we're trying to get them to do is just land on this foot marker and turn their hips, just like so. The next drill we're gonna work on is the stride, pause, and separate drill. You've probably seen it before because it's one of my favorite drills and I talk about it all the time. So all we're gonna do on this one is we're gonna start with our feet together, back from the tee, with our hands stacked up over our feet. And all we're gonna do from right there is we are going to stride forward as our hands go back, and we're gonna pause once we get to the ball of our foot, and then we're gonna say go, and then we drop our heel and we explode. So it'll look something like this. Feet together, hands together, stride out, hands go back, pause, explode. The last drill we're gonna work on is our first move drill. The way this works is we're gonna break down the swing into a few different steps. So the first one is we're just gonna have them load and stride. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna verbalize and we're gonna say first move, and all we want them to do right here is to work on pivoting their hip, but keeping their hands back as much as possible. So it'll look like this. First move, and from right there, explode. All right, that's it for day 1. In the next videos, in the next weeks, we're gonna work on bat path and more timing drills in week 2. So stay tuned, and thanks so much for watching this, and please practice these at home with your child. We'll see you back here next time.